This is the video where you're going to have to actually put me up on a second tab and start following along with me. I'll show you exactly how I use High Level to set up and deliver the marketing offer that we talked about in the last video, how to make a Stripe account and start accepting automated payments so that you can get paid every month from your clients. And we'll even talk about third-party tools that automate bringing your clients' clients into your High Level account so that you can automatically text them, whether it's for a recall campaign or for more Google reviews, and it's just a lot more easy on you. I'll even give you a free website so that you can host for yourself and show your clients that you're actually a legit marketing company. And it looks pretty cool just to get your branding set up on day one. So let's do it. Just one tip before we start. Don't take too long on this video. Learn the basics and keep on moving right when you feel comfortable. High Level is likely the most complex and powerful marketing software in the entire world. But that doesn't mean that you have to learn all of it to get your first client. I'll teach you the bare necessities, only what you need to get your first client and actually deliver so you can actually make progress and start growing while you're on the free trial. So you never actually have to invest money up front. And you can always learn everything else later down the line, next month, the next year if you want to. It's not even really necessary to ever learn the rest of it. But just take your time with that. And right now I'll teach you the bare necessities that you need. So don't take too long clicking every single button and asking every single question. Learn the basics, deliver, and keep on moving forward. Now to make this really easy for you, instead of building everything out inside of High Level step by step, I give you a full snapshot that I basically did all the work for you. You just have to plug and play and start rolling. And so to get that snapshot and the link to my Discord server and any other benefits that I offer, sign up to High Level down below. There's a free 30-day trial. So you literally have a month to land your first client. And make sure that when you do sign up, you don't use any cookie blockers, any ad blockers. Honestly, just turn off all extensions to make sure that it actually works for you. Then you can go ahead and turn it on back after, because what typically happens is that when you sign up and there's a bunch of ad blockers on, it blocks the link from being able to track you to me, and I can't automatically send you the snapshot link. And so just take care of that. And once you get the link either sent to you via text message or to your email from the email ending in mail.iamlucid.com, check your spam folder. It might even end up there. You will get a link to my snapshot. Now press on that link and it will look something just like this. Once you're logged into your High Level account, of course, make sure you log in first, then press on that link and you will see this pop up right here. Do you want to import this snapshot into this account? Just press yes, import now. So once you're here and the snapshot has been imported, you'll see basically two views to High Level. There's the sub account, which is where you actually go into your client's account and start delivering for them. And then there's the agency view, which is more of like a top-down overview, like bird's eye point of view. You actually just want to make sure that your snapshot is set up by going to account snapshots. Make sure that you have Lucid Snapshot, either V2, V3, wherever we're at in the future. And then you press on a create new account, this little plus button right over here. So press on that. And then you can choose any business. If you're just testing this out for yourself or using your own name as your own business, you can just press on add manually, fill in all of this information over here, and then press on add sub account. Now, once you added your sub account, press over here on the top left to switch into your sub account. So you press this button, then you go to your sub account. So now we're actually logged into the sub account view of High Level. This is what your client will see when they log in and how you actually deliver the benefits for them. And so once you get into this sub account, you'll see a bunch of settings. The first step is to not be overwhelmed. There's a lot to the software, just follow what I'm saying in this video. Now, what you should automatically see using my snapshot is when you go over to automation over here. So press on automation, you will see a few different options. Press on Lucid Workflow, and you have these options right over here, and I'll continually add more as time goes on and keep on giving you the updates. But what we're gonna be basically focusing on is the marketing folder in this video. So press on marketing, and then you have a few different things that you can offer to your clients right away. And this one is called a reactivation campaign or a recall campaign, I like to call it that. You basically open this one up, and it's a workflow. So it's basically a step-by-step automation that I've already built out for you entirely that will allow you to bring your clients into High Level and then start texting all of their past clients automatically to get them to come back for an offer or some sort of sale, Black Friday deal, just to get them back in the business and back in the booking schedule so they can immediately start seeing more revenue as a result of hiring you right away. This is the simple, fastest thing to sell and see profit as a result ever. One of my clients made over $6,000 as a result of this because they had a few thousand people in their back catalog of clients. And so we just imported all those people into this workflow. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. We just brought them into this workflow. It texted them every single day, little by little, and we got them more clients. So this is exactly how it would work. First, we have a drip, okay? I'm gonna teach you step by step what these are. Drip basically means how many per time. So I do 50 per day. You can customize it based on how many people you guys want to text per day. So 50 per day is a pretty good number. And then you go to a wait step. Now this basically waits so that you're only texting them on Monday to Friday, 9 to 6:30 p.m. And then it drips 1 per minute during those hours. And so it's pretty simple so far. You just have a couple of drips and wait steps. That's all it is. And then you have the actual text. And so this is what a text would probably look like. You can customize this for whatever business you're working for, any niche, anything you want to get into. And so for instance, I haven't seen you in a while. As a welcome back, we're giving you 25% off your next visit. Reply to this text or call us to book. Offer valid for 2 weeks. And so what I basically did there was made a recall text that we can send to every single client of basically any business ever, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a gym, whether it's a spa, anything. This should bring in more clients automatically. And so typically people do like emails and stuff, which emails is still really good, but nothing works like a text message. Nothing gets the same open rate and response rate and respect as a text coming straight to your cell phone. So emails usually get marked as spam. This is the way to go. And so this is the text. You can change it. What I basically did here was this is a limited time offer, which drives more of a call to action. It basically makes them act urgently. And then as a welcome back, which is explaining why we're giving a discount so that they feel like, okay, I'm getting a discount. It's valid for 2 weeks. All I have to do is just text back or call them to book, and it's really simple, right? So keep it in the same sort of structure, give it to GPT if you want, and then make it work for any business that you want to go into. Now, before we start, you might want to choose a niche to actually break into. And so I'll give you a long list. Basically, any type of business works as long as it's a service-based local business that has a long list of backlogged clients. And so I'll give you a long list right now. You basically have car detailing, landscaping, home cleaning, roofing, HVAC, auto repair, oil changes, tire shops, hair salons, barber salons, day spas, nail salons, massage businesses, local gyms, martial arts studios, restaurants, and pet groomers. There's probably so many more, but if any of these ring a bell for you, like you have a friend or family or cousin that works in any of these fields, then you can get started on that one right away. Or if you know more about any of these, just choose that one so you have more knowledge in that field. You could honestly sell to any and all of these all at once, but it's best to choose a niche so that you know the exact and specific struggles that they face, so it becomes easier to show other businesses and competitors, we've worked with that company down the street. They do the same exact thing as you guys and we solved it for them. So that's the kind of framework that you want to have your mind on. Choose any niche and then we can move forward. So that's the full recall campaign. You can customize changes however you like, but this is basically what drives in traffic. The second that you get signed up with a new business, I'd start this right away. The next one is the Google review campaign, which is right above it. We'll press on this one right over here and we'll see a few more steps. And so basically the trigger is they get a tag added to their name, which I'll explain a little bit later. Then it waits until it's basically working hours or like appropriate hours to text somebody. It texts one person every minute. It puts them in a texted stage, which I'll explain a little bit later on. And then it sends this SMS right over here. So basically the trick is to make the text sound as human being as possible. Don't use GPT. Don't ask any robot. Don't copy and paste anything online. Just think, how would you ask someone authentically for a Google review and then just use that? Here's my example. For instance, this works really, really well. And so I would use something kind of like this. What we have over here is a trigger link. I'll show you how to set that up in just a second. So basically, our system will wait. Did they press on this Google review link? If they don't press on it in 7 days, it will text them again. But if they do press on it, or even if they respond to this text message, it won't text them again. So it'll be really smart in knowing who to text and who not to text. So that's called a trigger link. To make sure it works, you just highlight this, just press on trigger links right over here, and press on Google review link. I'll show you how to actually make this take you to your client's Google review page in just a second. So press on that, and that should be the link right over there. Now, this wait step waits for the trigger link to be pressed. It waits 7 days, and then it will text them again. Now, if your client doesn't want this to happen and only wants it to be one text message, then you can basically just delete this follow-up text, just delete that action, then you're done. It basically texts them 1 day and then it's over. I typically recommend 2 text messages just because it's more effective, but some owners, are kind of like, I don't want to text my clients too many times. 1 time is just okay. And if they want it that way, then just make it only 1 text message. It waits 2 days after that, and then it chooses which stage to put them in. And so stages basically are on a different page of high level where you can add a quick view, see who you texted, who didn't respond, and then who responded in 3 categories, 3 layers. It's super, super simple. It's basically already built out for you. So press on back to workflows, you press on opportunities over here, and then you go press on this button, you press on Google review campaigns. And so easily, this will start to auto-populate when you start texting people. So you'll see texted a long list of people, probably like hundreds or even thousands if they have a long list. And then these are people that actually clicked on the link. these are guys that you texted twice, and these are everyone that basically never pressed on the link at all. And so you can easily see who's responding and who's not responding. You don't have to really learn how this works. You can just kind of use my setup I already have built out for you, and that should be good enough. Then going back to automation, we'll see a little bit more. I want to stay in this area so we don't, lose focus. The next one is to auto respond while closed. Now this one takes a little bit of setup. Basically, whenever a business owner gets a phone call or a text message or a missed call, they will be entered into this workflow automatically. And so I'll teach you everything about that later. But once they're in this workflow, the way that it'll work is like this. This is called an if-else condition. And so basically, if this, then that. So if it's a weekday before 9 a.m., which I basically created by having these two steps right over here. Current day of the week is weekday. Time of day is before 9 a.m., which is like most businesses 9 to 5. You can always, customize this however you'd like. Or if it's a weekday after 5 p.m., current day of the week is weekday. Time of day is on or after 5 p.m. Or if it's a weekend, right? So you can customize this any way you want. You can also make, if they have really complicated schedules, you can change this to match their actual business hours. You can just press on this, duplicate branch, and you can add more of these. And so let's say I want to make it, if it's a Monday, they close on Monday at, I'd say, like 7 p.m. If it's really late, press on save, and it adds a whole new category or basically a whole new row. I won't do it just to keep this video simple, but just play with this and you should get the hang of it within a few minutes. Then you'll have these rows right over here, right? These columns, I should say. Now, if it's a weekday before 9 a.m., it'll respond to their call or to their text message automatically saying, hey, thanks for reaching out to business name. We're actually closed right now, but feel free to respond to this text with your question, and we'll get back to you right when we're open. Now, what this does is it tells the lead that just called into the hair salon or barbershop or restaurant, okay, you're closed right now. Instead of calling the next business down the line, I'll just text you guys what I wanted and I'll get back to my day. This way, I'm not going to call other businesses and take my business elsewhere, and they can basically recover lost revenue that they're not getting because they're letting all their missed calls go to voicemail. So this text automatically does something called lead capturing. Use that when you're selling. It basically explains it a little bit better, but we basically capture leads even when you're closed. The owners of the business can respond to these texts really easily on the phone app, which I'll get into in just a little bit. Now, I keep this right here where it says none. And then if it's another if-else condition, we have it set so that if it's a missed call during working hours, which would basically take you down this route over here, then it responds something like this. Hi, it's the staff from business name. We just missed your call. How can we help? Then that will start the conversation doing something called missed call text back. And so whenever their staff is busy, if they're not answering every single phone call, this could help solve that and keep more business coming into their business and not going somewhere else also. These are automations that are just like plug and play. Once it's set up one time, it runs automatically every single day for you. Now let's exit that workflow. Here we have marketing. So we go to trigger links on marketing, and then we'll basically get the Google review link of our client. Press on edit, and we'll just paste that Google review link right over here. And then that will basically make all the trigger links that use this right here, like I showed you last time. It'll basically make that trigger link be a custom link that is trackable. And so it's a custom link for each person. And basically our system will use that to know, did they press on this link or did they avoid pressing on this link? And then we can make follow-ups and adjustments based on that. You could also just avoid this entirely and put the link right in the text message, but this is what I typically do just to be able to track who's clicking and who's not clicking. Now, how do we actually bring people, so our clients' clients, into high level so that we can text them automatically? It's super simple. You have to go over to contacts right over here and then press on this button that says import. So bulk import, and then you'll press on next, and then you'll just drag and drop a CSV file, it has to be in that format, from your client's booking software that you can easily get by just logging in or just having them send it over to you. It will basically be pulling in every single first name, last name, email, phone number of all their clients into high level so that you can put them into any of these workflows that we have created for you. As an example, I just placed in a CSV file that I created, and we'll see the following. So mapping each field would look kind of like this. You just map the first name column to the first name field over here. You basically only need like a first name and a phone number. Everything else is not really that necessary. So just map the fields, really, really simple, and then press on next. Then you can add imported contacts to a workflow by pressing this right over here and then going to any of the workflows that we have. They have to be published, by the way. So if we go to automation, Lucid workflows, marketing, and then we just publish any of these as long as they're ready to go and everything looks good. Then we can go to publish a workflow, and then that's now active. and it should start showing up over here for us to press on that workflow and then bring all the contacts right into it. Or we can add a tag to a contact. So you press on this and you just choose any tag, like for instance, Google review campaign. Now I have it set so that whenever you add this tag to your contact, it will automatically pull them into the Google review workflow because that's the trigger for it, right? So this is the workflow right over here. The trigger will say tag added Google review campaign. And so that would be basically the same exact thing as pulling them right into the workflow, either via trigger or via a imported contacts to a workflow. I do recommend testing out each workflow before you actually publish it and start using it. So you can just press on test workflow, add yourself as a contact by going back to the contacts page and adding yourself manually. And then you just press on run test. And so you can put your number in there, press on run test, and it will add you in as if you just dropped in right there. And it'll add you in through all of these. And so basically you can just press on your name and then make sure that you're getting pushed through all of these. If for whatever reason there's like a drip mode or you're waiting too long, you can just press on enrollment history or execution logs, either or. And you can press on force contact to the next step. It should be in this tab actually, force contact to next step. And that will get you pushed through any wait steps so you can actually test it out on your own phone number. You also have the settings page in any workflow over here. You can basically turn on allow re-entry or turn off if you want them to just do it one time only ever. So it's up to you. And then you can also do stop on response, basically kicks them out once they text back, and then specific time windows, which I really do recommend. So basically no texts will happen during these hours or outside of these hours. So this time would be, let's say 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. on weekdays, for instance. Now, since we're here to actually test out these workflows, there's going to be a little option that says from number. You can actually choose which number responds to these workflows for you. And to buy a phone number, it costs $1 per month. So just use it just to make sure it works. So to get a number, you press on back to workflows, bottom left, press on settings. Then you press on phone system over here and you'll see phone numbers. And so press on add phone number. And you can choose any number you want, any area code. You can also press on filter by first part of number and choose any area code that you have for your city. For instance, mine is 313. You can just press on this and then you'll press on proceed to buy. It might ask you to verify your ID because that's how it does when it's like actually buying or selling phone numbers. So just press on begin verifying. I press on US and then driver's license, and I will scan that and be right back. Now the phone number is complete. This is our number that we could actually use for the business. And so you're probably thinking the business already has a phone number. How does this all work? And so we're gonna at least get a number that looks really clean and really simple. And then we're gonna forward all the calls that come to this new number back to the old business number that they have. So basically, wherever we put this new number, anywhere online, Instagram, Google, Facebook, wherever, if someone calls it, the call gets routed back to the original business line. And so nothing actually changes on their end, but now they can start receiving text messages because they have a new VoIP number that we just got them, right? And so we can do that by pressing on these three dots over here, edit configuration. I usually turn that off, and then I just put forward calls to, this is their current business line. So put their current business number right over here in the forward calls to section, and then you should be good to go. That's where the calls will all get forwarded to. Now, there is a process called A2P10 DLC registration. So if you live in the USA or Canada, you have to go through this a little bit annoying process to actually get your number to work. If it's a business line, basically some new laws came out where there's almost no real way around this, where you have to get A2P verified, meaning you have to be an actual business, you have to submit your business EIN number and have a business website, which I basically show you how to, speed run the entire process so you can actually make a line start working immediately. This number will work for phone calls, but it just can't send out any text yet. And so the video might be in the cards above or the description down below to get A2P verified. It's like a full step-by-step breakdown. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get everything set up from A to Z, and then you will actually be good to go and this number will really start working for you. In other countries, like in the UK, for example, it's pretty easy. You just have to go to regulatory bundles or basically walk you through how to do it. And then you just create a bundle. You basically put your business information in, you press done, and then you're pretty much done. Like there's no entirely long process like how we have it here in America, but it's a thing that you just have to kind of get through. Don't let A2P block you from making money or from building a business. It's an annoying process, but just learn how to get through it one time and it becomes really easy after that. My video speedruns the entire process. If you want to avoid the A2P process entirely, there is a solution. And so if you have a country that basically doesn't have an available phone number in this area, so your country is none of these countries that we have here, there is still hope. And so there's a software called My CRM Sim where you can basically plug in a real cell phone, like an iPhone with iMessage. You can literally put iMessage in high level. It's actually sick. Or RCS for an Android phone or basically any phone you got, or even an actual WhatsApp number plugged right into high level, and the software is called My CRM Sim. I'd say this is a good backup. I'd still recommend is going the A2P route, but if you have to avoid it entirely or your country isn't really supported at all, then My CRM Sim, there's a link down below for that, which is an affiliate link that will support me in the channel. But basically that allows you to plug in an actual phone into high level. And the benefit of this also is that if the company doesn't want to change their number anywhere and they already have a cell phone, then you can use My CRM Sim to just plug that right into high level and everything stays the exact same. But again, for the vast majority of people, for myself included, I always recommend just doing A2P, just getting it done. It's annoying, it's a long process, just freaking do it, you got this. So now that we have a phone number, we can go back to settings on the workflow and then make sure that our phone number is showing up right over here, press on save. And then since this isn't really A2P set up just yet, I didn't go through the whole process yet, we can still test this to make sure that it actually does work. And so to do this, all you would do is just set up that phone number in the settings, and then you can do one of two things. One, you can just press test workflow, put your own phone number, and you will see that when it's time, the SMS will try, it will attempt to be sent to your personal number, but it'll have like a red exclamation mark saying this text could not be sent, and you will see that in the conversations view of high level right over here once that does show up. The second thing that you can do is also do any of these other workflows that we basically have. For instance, if you have a workflow that auto responds while closed, you can just automate this or press on publish to actually turn it on. And if a text should be sent out, if you basically call that number or you text that number and it's out of business hours or the call is missed, then it should try to send any of these responses to you to make sure that it works. But of course, the text won't actually reach your phone. It will just say it had an error inside of the high level conversations tab. And then you can just see what would have gone out if you were A2P setup. And so that's just a good way to test out, make sure that everything's working on your end. So your clients would actually see all the calls and text messages on the high level app they get from the App Store. So Google Play Store, Apple App Store, they can look up two different applications. So the first one is high level. It basically exposes that you're using the high level software to do all these automations. And the second one is Lead Connector. That's basically a gray label app name that doesn't expose that you're using high level as the marketing software. Either choice works, it's up to you. And the third application is basically your own white labeled mobile application. That's what I use. I literally have my own application on the App Store and Google Play Store. So my clients think that everything is going through me in my company and it looks really clean and professional. It is pretty expensive, but in my case, it's worth it. I'd say recommend doing that like way later on. It's always a good option to have though. By the way, the phone application itself is a really good selling point because business owners that typically just have a landline phone at their business, which almost all of them do, can't really see if their calls are being answered or if they're getting back to people or if they're even answering text messages. They can't see any of that. They're basically left in the dark throughout the entire process. And so once they have this application on their phone, they can see if calls are coming in, who's calling and who's answering the calls and who's getting back to every single lead. And so they can keep basically a good view over their entire business just off of the app, which a lot of them love to hear. So high level also does have a cost per text associated with using their number. And so it's really not expensive at all. You can send a lot of text and it might come out to like 10 or 15 bucks per month. So the only fees are going to be the A2P fees, which come out to about, I'd say $25 just to submit the application and get it approved. And then $11.25 per month. And so that's basically all you'll pay for the A2P number. And the cost per text message is for an outbound SMS, that's $0.0083. So this is the exact price you would pay for sending an SMS and receiving an SMS per segment. So a segment is 160 characters. The longer the text, the more it'll be. So to start like multiplying. So you can send a lot of text messages for this price and it might come out to maybe like 15 bucks per month maximum. So I just double checked it. You can send 1,807 text message segments for $15. And so it's not expensive at all. Now we know how to get Google reviews and how to get customers to come back, but how do we respond to those reviews on Google using AI? And so High Level also does this for you. Their software is freaking crazy. First, go over to settings on the bottom left and then go down to integrations. From here, you just have to sign into a Google account that is either an owner or a manager of the Google business profile that we're working with. And so basically you can request management position, which I always recommend doing so you can customize, update, and fix things for them. Then log into your own Google account and plug it in right over here. Or you can have them log into their own Google account and log into their business right over here. And so once that's all set up and their Google business profile is fully integrated into High Level, then you would just go back and press on Reputation. Then you'll see reviews right over here. And then you can automatically start responding to them by going to Settings And then we'll see, for instance, auto response is turned on. You can have suggestive or off, but turn on auto response. And then you can have this pop up right over here. And so you can customize this prompt exactly how you want it. What I find is putting in this word right here saying, don't use the word "we are thrilled" in your response. I find if you see it making any mistakes, or at least, saying things that are too AI sounding, then you can just put it in the prompt saying, don't use this word, don't use M dashes, don't use thrilled. AI loves to use that word for some reason. And you can also set the tone of the agent. So I like to put professional and grateful. And you can have it respond to all reviews or only 5-star. I usually recommend letting your clients deal with a 3-star and under, and you can respond to a 4-star and up. That's what I typically do. So go to 4 stars and above. And then you can also have it respond to Facebook reviews too. And so you can have it respond to basically everything, Google, whatever you'd like. And I would keep this empty and press on save. What I normally do is, just to make it feel a little bit more realistic, I'll put minutes right over here. So the wait time before responding. And I usually put about 10 to 15 minutes. So you can put, let's say, 13 minutes. And then that will automatically wait 13 minutes, use AI to respond. So the person that just left this 5-star Google review will feel like you actually went in there and then made a fully thoughtful response based on their review. And as a bonus tip, I also made a new workflow that if you go to MISC in the workflow settings right over here, you press on Google Review Notify, right? This one right over here will basically get the notification that someone has left a Google review. If it's 3 stars and up, or if it's 4 stars and up, it'll basically tell your client, you got a new Google review, congratulations, tell them exactly what they got using this email right over here, this little template that I made for you guys. And then if it's a negative Google review, meaning that it's 3 stars and under, it'll text your client, and it'll also text you by you just adding your name in the CC over here. So add your own email here. And then it'll also email you and your client saying, hey, we noticed that there was a negative Google review left on your business. We're already working to get it taken down. We'll update you once we see any more progress. And so this shows your clients that you're actively watching, making sure that their reputation is what really counts to you. You're taking care of bad reviews, you're getting them good reviews, and they want to see that instantly. And so if there's anything negative that happens, it happens sometimes where you get a 1-star review, not by asking for it, by the way. They almost never, I don't think that's ever happened to us ever, but if someone ever gets mad at the business for whatever reason, they leave them a 1-star or a 2-star review, then we would basically have the system automatically set up to notify you and them. And so to get Google reviews removed, I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Before I show you that, go back over to the settings on the bottom left. On phone system, you want to make sure that you have messages right over here. This is what I typically change these to. So make SMS compliant by adding an opt-out message. If you watch the A2P video, I taught this over there. It's really important to just change this. What I do is reply by to end. It's the best way to do it, because if you get a lot of people saying stop, you actually get banned by the carriers. And then I usually just change this to just a little dash and then sender ID. So that's the name of the actual business. It has to be in the text message. And that is what I typically do. There's also a bunch of laws on Texas about texting. And so I'd basically, just to be safe, turn this on so you don't do bulk SMS in Texas, unless you live in Texas, a different story. But basically, I talk about all of this in the A2P video, just to make sure that you follow everything and don't get banned or limited at any cost. As a side tip, you also have the option to go to marketing and then social planner. And once you have any social media and the Google business profile plugged in, you'll have the option to automatically post 5-star Google reviews on their social pages like Facebook or Instagram. It'll basically kind of just like screenshot that review, post it on their page once a month or once every other month if you'd like it to be that way. I think it looks a little bit redundant. I wouldn't do it myself. It looks a little bit like kind of basic, but you could do it for free if your client wants it, just to give them more value, and it takes basically no work on your end. Now, I promised you there was going to be a website built for you so that you can just copy onto your own company or marketing company's name and start using literally today. So to do that, you'd go over to sites, press on websites on the top left, and then marketing agency. So as time goes on, I'll start to update these with more and more sites for you so you can just copy them and they would look really cool. Also, High Level has a lot of really good website templates that you can just copy if you're on their higher plan, if you want to go on there. But if not, you can always use this one right over here. And basically it would look something like this. You can customize all the text. It would be really, really simple to change all this stuff out. But this is like a generic marketing company website that I have created. This is fully, by the way, fully custom made. My designer actually made this for you. And so you can kind of just put your own company name on there and change all of these if you'd like. You put a chat widget on there as well. and all of this would be set up for you. So to get your own website, to make sure that you're a legit looking marketing company, when you go to sell this, you can leave like a little website link and all of that. It's super, super simple. On high level, you go to bottom left, press on sites. And by the way, on high level, you can literally have unlimited hosted websites for free, like $0 per month. So going on to sites, and then you go back to websites in the top left, press on marketing agency. And this is a site that I made. It's a fully custom made site. My designer made it for us. And so you can use this for your own marketing company. You can change all of these texts. It's super, super simple, very editable. You can change everything over here. And this is what it kind of looks like if you were to just preview with the custom code and all of that. Let's see that. It would look something like this. And so all of these are pretty interactive. You can change everything that you see. You can also make these buttons do different things. You can change any of these FAQs, and you can just copy this website exactly as it is and start rolling with it in the next 10 minutes until you make your own custom one or whatever you'd like to do. By the way, High Level does have a lot of beautiful website templates on their higher plan, so that's also worth a thought. And just to get this plugged in, you would just press on Connect Domain, and then you would press on Purchase a Domain, assuming you don't have one. If you do have one, press on Connect Domain, and then you go purchase a domain directly inside of High Level, which makes this entire process super seamless. So you put in whatever name you want, for example, but I got iamlucid.com, and then you would just plug that in right into your site. I also recommend making an Instagram account name the same as your website so that it's all cohesive, just one name. You can use this to post testimonials, case study videos, and just to show off what you're doing for businesses in the area. And so I recommend not taking too long on this step. I call this the logo trap. It's like a spider web. Whenever someone's making a new business, they get so caught up on the logo and the fine details, which you can always just change later after you get your first 5 or 6 clients. But people spend way too much time making sure that everything is so perfect. Their website, their logo, their name, they try 1,000 different things, and then they never actually get their first client. They just quit next week. And so just make it whatever, anything that sounds decent. Make it go live, and you can focus on the fine details later on. So make your Instagram page, get a website domain just to get something set up where you can put on a name, business card, name tag, whatever you'd like, and just have that rolling just so that you can start doing business, as I'll show you in the next video. Now, to actually start accepting payment, you would make a Stripe account. This is the go-to that everyone basically uses because it's very integratable into High Level, and it's also just like the most widely known. But honestly, there's 1,000 payment providers. You can use whatever you want, whatever your country supports. They all probably take the same amount of fees. Go for the lowest fees. It could be any way that you want to accept payment. You can have it go on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, whatever. It doesn't matter that much. I typically use Stripe. You would go on Stripe and then press on Start Now to make your own account. And so if you have a company, which you probably don't yet, but if you could, you can make a company account, or at least put your company's EIN and all that stuff, or you can make your own Stripe account with your own name and not necessarily a business yet. So once you actually make your Stripe account and everything gets set up and approved, you can make different payment links. And so I recommend making at least 1 to 3 different payment links between any price range. So between $150 a month at the lowest to, I'd say, $1,000 a month at the absolute highest, based on how much you want to sell this for. And you would basically have these links made on Stripe on the payment links section, and then you would save this as a text replacement on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, go to settings, type in the word text replacement, and copy that Stripe link into a text replacement. So if you type in 125, for instance, on your phone, it'll automatically paste your pricing for 125, or 500, for instance. It'll automatically replace that text on your phone with the Stripe payment link. And that's really important. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, but basically it's really important because you want to basically close the sale as soon as possible. And so if the person's right in front of you, you don't want to say, give me a few days, I'm going to go back and figure out how Stripe works, and then send you a link. They're going to be like, bro, I'm straight. So make sure you have the link ready to go while you're in the sale so that you can close right away. So the process of actually removing 1-star Google reviews is pretty simple. The chances of it actually working, I've seen, are about 20 to 30%. So it's honestly not the most common, but the way that you would do this for a business, assuming they got a review that broke Google's terms of service, is they would leave the Google review saying, oh, I hate the person at the front. She's such a this and that word and so many rude things about the specific person. What you would basically do is report that review directly on Google. Just press the little I circle icon next to the review, press on report for whatever rule it's breaking. You can ask ChatGPT for that. And let's say they're like insulting a person or like harassing a person. You would report it. After 3 days, if that review does not get taken down, you can now escalate that review to get taken down by pushing a little bit further. And so I'll leave you a link in the description below for this one. You would basically go to, and I have to blur actually a lot of this out. You would press on the Google business that you're managing. Let me refresh this page. Press on confirm, and then press on the Google business that you're managing. And then press on check the status of a review I've reported and my appeal options. Press on appeal eligible reviews. and then you would press on any of the reviews or even all of the reviews. So you press on that, press on continue, and then you press on submit and appeal. And so this will pull up a brand new page right over here where you basically have a few options. Now this is the page where you have to explain perfectly, okay? You have to tell Google why this person broke the Google terms of service for leaving reviews on the business and exactly how or why. And so why do you think the policy is violated by the review in question? So press on the policy page right over here that they'll give you. And in this policy page, there's a lot of information. And so what you can do is give this to Gemini or to GPT and say, here's the review. Here's the Google policy page. Which policy did this reviewer break? And if they even broke it, even for one word, if they said something that was like out of line or rude or harassment towards one single person at that business in specific that was uncalled for, basically any of these, then like harassment, for instance, then you can easily get this taken down. But you have to just explain that to Google. And so usually AI does an amazing job at this. I'll be totally honest. It'll tell you this person broke this rule and that rule. And then you'd basically say, okay, explain this so I can submit it to Google in under 1,000 characters and then make sure that it's getting to the point. Like don't let it put any AI jargon. You can just kind of paste it into there. Put any screenshots also of the review if you'd like, or if anything else that you would need to prove that this person isn't really either a client at this company or any of the above. Sometimes what I've even done is gone to the booking software of my clients, typed in the person's name and said, look, this person doesn't even come here. Like we don't even have them in our system at all. They're not even a real client. And so that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Press on confirm as long as it's accurate and then press on submit. Now I have to blur a lot of this out, but to optimize a Google business profile is actually really simple. AI does a lot of the work for you, if we're being honest, and you can offer it to your clients to actually get them ranked a lot higher. And some small tweaks could actually make a big difference revenue-wise for their business. This is exactly how we do it. So first, go over to edit services for the company. And whatever, like this, for instance, has no services. I have to optimize it for my client. But you basically press on add custom service. And for instance, if it's a spa or if it's a barber, for instance, you would tell ChatGPT, give me a list of services for this company type, so a barber, for instance, that I can put on the Google business profile. So let's just say you press on save. So after you add a bunch of these, you probably add maybe 5 to 10 for yourself. Then you would go back to each one. This takes a little bit of time. You would go back to each one, press on it, and then give a service description that's keyword rich and SEO optimized. Tell that to AI that's under 300 characters long. Copy and paste this service description right over here and press on save and go do that one after the other over and over again. Next, you want to make sure that everything over here looks like it's fully completed. So Google will actually help you out a lot. Press on complete information. And then you would add a storefront photo, photos of the inside that are high quality. You would go through everything that Google has, add a description of the business, make sure all the dates and times are accurate when they're open and when they're closed, and make sure that everything is set up here perfectly. High Level is also adding a new feature where you can automatically reply to all of your clients' past Google reviews automatically. And so that's coming out really soon. It should be in the reputation side of High Level that we just talked about once it's out. So you might be seeing that when you're watching this video. You can also go to photos, make sure those are up to date. Add a post from the company. So, hey, this is business owner name. We're offering 1, 2, and 3 at this company. We do 1, 2, and 3. Just post something to show that you're actually active. For Q&A, you can also ask questions to your own business and then answer those questions. So again, you can use AI for all of this. Give me 10 to 15 questions for this business type and then answer them. Do we offer different types of languages here? Do we offer 1, 2, and 3? And then show that those are being answered. So what this will all do for your business is it will show Google that you're answering questions, answering reviews, getting reviews, editing service options, putting in keyword-rich service descriptions, and putting up-to-date photos, which shows Google that you're active, people love you, you love your clients, and everything's working great, which gives them the confidence to rank you guys a lot higher. And of course, if they get ranked higher, they get a lot more business, and that's just a simple way to keep the revenue coming in for your clients month after month. Now, to fully automate when leads come in from your clients' booking software into High Level, you would basically go to Zapier and get a Zap set up. So there's many ways of doing this. You can either, one, do this yourself every day by downloading a report from their client's booking software and plugging it into High Level, or you can hire a virtual agent on Upwork to do this for you for like $5 an hour, or you can use Zapier, which is a software that basically integrates two softwares together. So new client finishes their booking with this software name, and then it sends it to high level. And so there's many ways that you can do this, also like API options in high level too, whatever makes it as easy as possible for you. And so for some of my clients, if their booking software does support it, I usually use Zapier because it's so simple. And you basically set up a Zap so that it sends this client over to high level, asks for a Google review, does everything automated for you. It's really, really quick. This is an example of a simple Zap. Basically, it's only 2 steps. Once a job is completed or an invoice is updated in Jobber, which is the software my client uses, then it will send the client's information over to Lead Connector, which also basically means high level. It's just their gray labeled name. And then it sends that lead to a workflow, and that workflow asks them for a Google review, right? So basically it's automatically just sending clients from one software to another, asking for a review, and basically doing whatever else you want, fully automated. And that's why I like to use Zapier a lot. And so I'll be honest, not every single booking software will have the ability to use Zapier. They won't give you webhooks, which is an option in high level in the workflows. They won't give you APIs. They won't let you integrate no matter what you do. Everything is closed off in their own software. And so I have, for a couple of clients, had to hire somebody, a VA online, to literally every single day at 5 p.m. download the client list, upload the client list. Basically a human Zapier connection. And so that's the last case scenario. That's a last resort, but sometimes you might have to do that. It's not expensive at all, or you could just do it by yourself if it doesn't bother you. So it's always a good option. High Level also does give you a free onboarding call that shows up in your agency account. You can basically join this call. They'll teach you whatever you need to learn and ask any questions, and you basically get everything set up with them on board 24/7. They have an amazing support team. So I recommend jumping onto that call just to get yourself set up in case you need any help whatsoever. So as long as all of this made very general sense, you don't have to be a pro at this just yet. You could still be very basic level, but as long as you know exactly what your offer is, how to somewhat get it set up, you're on the right track. The next video is going to be on outreach, getting people to know about you, to hear about you, getting in front of their face, calling, DMs, texting, emailing, whatever it is. I'll teach you exactly how to get that set up so that you can actually, not only spend all your time on the technicalities of this, but actually get it sold to people in real life. That's the whole point of this. And so in the next video, you're going to see exactly how to do outreach. That's the next step. You got this. I'll see you soon.